Hello and welcome to Hixxy Studio. In this video I am going to show you how to make this easel card. Looks really fancy but I have an amazing die that does most of the work for you, and it's this is the Octagon flower card from Yvonne Creations, the Stylish Flowers collection. There's loads of lovely dies in this collection, and also these little pushouts. They're like little decoupage pieces. So we're going to use a combination of the two. All I've added in the case of this one is a couple of my nesting ovals just to mat and layer. And in the other one I'll show you in a moment, I've used some heart dies. It's purely just to add a bit of matting and layering. Okay, so let's start with the push out and then we'll look at the card in a moment. So this one is called Flowers and Rattan, because we've got this like little basket here. The one I did was in like a trug, and then the one that we're going to use is this little heart one here. It's a rattan heart. Okay, so if you've not seen the 3D push-outs before, you get a lot of them from the likes of Yvonne Creations, Amy Designs, and so forth. And they come on a sheet like this, which is sort of a decoupage paper. It's very flexible, but it's very quite hard wearing, but you just be a little bit careful. You can't just sort of go in case you tear it. Comes with 3 images on each sheet. So this one has got the original, this one with the basket that the trug, sorry, that I've already used, the heart, which is the middle one, and this is the one I'm going to show you. Now, everything's numbered and they're color coded so that you shouldn't get yourself too mixed up. And I get them out this way. I put them face down on an old mouse mat, and I go over the back with a large ball tool. This is Crafter's Companion one from the set of 3 that they brought out for their flower forming. And you can see they come out really nice and easy. These ones have not got any, haven't got too many little bits. If you do have really tiny, fine sort of bits, just be a little bit careful. Okay, let's move that to the side. Now, what I've done for the easel is I've actually kept the smallest bit of decoupage back. So I haven't actually used it on the decoupage. I've used it on the stopper. So you don't always have to use all of the bits together at the same time. So it's up to you how many layers you want for your decoupage. I will put all of them on because I'm not going to use this one on the easel. But if I was, I would just leave that last layer out. Okay, so I'm using 3D glue gel. You can use foam pads if you prefer. It's a case of personal preference. Each has their advantages and disadvantages. And when you're putting the pieces together, if you can get your sort of face over the top of it, and then you can line it up much better because you've got a much more clearer vertical view. If you do get your bits mixed up, you think, oh, I'm not sure which is which, just look at the size. You're looking for each layer is ever decreasing in size. So the smallest layer would go on the top. Like I say, if I was using this one in the same way as for this, for an easel card, then I would not put this one on. I would keep this one back out for the stopper. But as I'm keep this for another project, then we will just put that on. Whoops. That's one of the disadvantages of using 3D glue gel, that they move. It's also one of the advantages so that you can get them lined up properly. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it with the piece of paper rather than trying to take it off the piece of paper. Okay, so that's the 3D push out, and this is the one that we're going to use for the card we are making now. So let's have a look at the die set. It's a really lovely die set. So we have Now, the one thing I will say is just be careful with these dies. As you can see, they're very thin and very easy to bend. So I would highly suggest that if you've got them, if you can, to keep them on a magnetic sheet like this, just to keep them all in shape. I found that when I was prepping this, you need to be if you when you're putting this on your cutting plate, if you just slightly squeeze it, then the mats and layers don't work. But they're not so bad that you think, oh no, they look awful, but they just be aware of that. So you get this mat and layer. So you could just cut the card base as a card base. You've got a mat that's just smaller, and then you have a much smaller one inside. Now this one is also the same size as this. So what I've done is I've cut a white mat out, cut this out of the sort of the greeny paper, and then layered them together. I also, although it doesn't show so much on the top, but it does on the bottom, I use the inner die when I cut with this, and I'll explain exactly how I did that in a moment. So let's start with the card, because show you how you can make this into an easel card. So I say that these are very thin. But the easy way to tell which, if you've got this particular part of the die is upright, is there you can see this little bit. This not cutting edge. That's the where it's going to crease to allow you to fold the card. So we're going to put it up that way, and I've just got some glue on my card, but not worry. Now this is what I'm saying. Just be careful, because if I squish that, I end up with a slightly distorted card. So try and sort of let it just lie before you add your tape, and sort of don't try and force it into any particular sort of place. And then I'm going to run this through. We don't need that extra card. I'm going to run that through. And you hear a lovely sound of that cutting. I was surprised actually. I thought, oh, it's a very thin die. Is it gonna cut the card out very well? And it cuts it out beautifully. Okay, so now the only thing is here, and that's because, can you see how close I had it to the edge of my board? So I'm just going to twiddle that around, just to, in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut this piece off so that I can centralize it more. That little bit was too close to the edge. It's this bit. So now you can see this further in, and hopefully that will cut. So that was nothing to do with the die. That's more my placement of the die. Getting rid of that little extra bit should rectify that situation. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there we go. So here is our card, base card. And like I said, you could just use this as a straightforward. I say straightforward. There's nothing really straightforward about the beautiful shape of this, but you get what I mean. You don't need to necessarily use all the other sort of bells and whistles on this card. So I'm screwing it in half. Making sure I've got that straight. Where's my folder? There we go. Now, so like I say, you can use it as a tent fold or as an ordinary sort of side opening card, but we're making it into a an easel. Now, if you wanted a straightforward easel, you can score across the middle here, but I've gone for a twisted, so I've sort of gone across like that. So I'm going to grab my scoring board, my scoring tool in the groove, so I know that that was 4, and there. So I'm going to score down there. Okay. So there we have, and no, so I've gone the other way. We're going to have a pair of bookends, if you like, but the principle is the same. Now, we need a piece that's the same size and shape. So what I did was I cut the whole die out again, and then I cut it along the score line, and one half I've used for this and the other half I'm going to use for this. So what I need to do is to get this die out again, and I'm kind of laying this over, and you should be able to see that up here, this is where I've got the straight bit, this scoring bit. I'm just going to, I'm going to do it slightly around this way, because as I said, this is a very thin die that moves quite easily. In fact, I have a better idea. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this card and use this card instead, because it is a lot more stable. And I'm going to lay it over the top like that, lined up. And now you can see I can just, whoops. Oh, break my pencil. Just literally going to take off some little bits to create that shape. So there we go. So now I have my piece that is the right shape, and then this will sit on my easel like so. Okay. Now, I've already created one of these. This is what we're aiming for. This one will sit under there, and we need another one for the top here. So I have got a piece of plain white card. It's thin card. It's not like your stamping card or anything like that. And this is the die to cut out my mat, and it's very thin. So just be checking. You can see which side is the cutting side. Just make sure you have got that up the right way. And then on the pattern paper, I'm using the intricate die. So we're going to cut these separately because they will need different pressures. And putting that down, but then just so that we've got a little bit of interest, like on here, I'm placing this one. Now you could place it like that, just so that it's all symmetrical. But what I did is I quite like the idea of just twisting it, just to give it a little bit more interest. So you're putting the points, the ones that point out from this little inner die against the ones that point in from that larger outer die. And just going to try and line that up. There and there. Need a little bit more tape. Okay, now this is the one, just try to let it sit without forcing it to be in a particular place, because that way you'll get a truer shape for that to sit on. So let's cut this one first. This is just what we would refer to as a simple shape. There's no intricate pieces. It doesn't need a lot of pressure. Here it's cutting fine in there, providing I haven't put it too close to one side or the other. It was a smaller piece of card this time, so that shouldn't have been the case. So yep, that's cut out fine. So now we're going to do this one, and I am going to put in the magnetic shim with this, because this is quite an intricate die and it's quite a size. So we're going to put that in to cut there. Take this out while that one's going through. And that. Out. Oh, clean off those bits. You can see it's cut nicely. Already all falling out. So remove these pieces of tape. Here. And you're gonna be left with like an inner small inner piece here, which you know, keep hold of for another project. It's quite a pretty, very pretty shape. That one back on my magnetic sheet, and then I'm going to use that off like so, and then I will clean that out a little bit later. There we go. Right. So all the dies. Oh, I've managed to rip it slightly, but that won't show once we've got on our thing. We can cover that up with a little bit of the decoupage probably. Okay, so we are going to stick this on to our piece of white. So I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm going to go all the way around the outside edge. Once the glue's flowing, there we go. So I'm going all the way around the edge. So, and then I'll go around the inner part as well, and then just pick out some of the larger areas on the inside. Okay. Like that. Oh, and then glue on these bits. Oh, come on. Like so. And then on these kind of bigger bits like this, just to add a little bit more areas of adhesion as we're going around. You could use a spray on something like this, but just for the sake of time, we will do the glue. No glue on that one. Right, let's go for it. So I found that the easiest way to get these on is to have it with one of the points facing up. Position that one in, and then make sure the bottom one is also positioned. There we go. Like so. Excellent. Right. These are our mats then. In fact, this one was a little bit. Let's put this one inside the card. A bigger thing of glue, and glue on the back. And that. Oh. There. That's going to come across like that. And excuse me, this one. In fact, but before we put this one on, I'm going to put the I just want to make sure which way we're going up. It's like that. Oh, no, it's not on there, is it? What am I doing? I need to stick it on here, don't I? And then we stick that on there. Oh, a little bit of a brain storm there. So let's stick this on first. There we go. So this is going on like so. And then this one on like that. And then the decoupage on the top like so. And then this is going to stick on here. And the easiest way to do that is to put the glue on here rather than try and work out how much glue you need on the back of there. And then it's not going to be such an issue. Okay. So just make sure we're getting this up the right way. So it's going to go there. Get that lined up. Okay, now that's the one I cut there. You can see it's just slightly different, but it's really not going to show. So, okay, so the last thing we need to do, not the last thing, we've got a little bit of decoration to do, is we need to put the stopper on. In fact, I am going to put the stopper on last purely because then I can fiddle around with everything else. So I'm going to put remember what I did here. There we go. So we're going to put three of our pearls on there. Like so. Some really lovely little Aurora Borealis ones I've got here. Really shiny. And then put 3D glue gel. So this is the piece 4 of the decoupage that would normally have sat there, and I'm just using it to decorate my stopper on my easel instead. And I'm going to put it across, I think, like that. And then I've got some pearls to go on here too. Those on. And then we'll put this on as a stopper and also add the bow. So this needs some 3D glue gel. There we go. And we're going to put that on, like so, as our stopper. And then we'll put our bow this side this time as we've kind of flipped our image there. So that's going to go on like so. Let's pull that. Okay. Now I'm just very aware that that's not stuck yet, so I don't want it to be moved too much. So there we have our Octagon easel card, and I've used this really lovely die set from Yvonne Creations called Octagon Flower Card. So I've made it into an easel. It doesn't have to be an easel. It can be, just your normal sort of tent fold or normal open card. And I've teamed it up with one of the 3D pushouts from the same collection. So the kind of flowers, they will sort of coordinate there. There are a few more videos on our channel using this stylish flowers collection, so pop on and have a look and subscribe to make sure you are updated with all our new content. Thank you for joining me.